Hey everybody, it is Katie coming at you live from the Picture Perfect van. I know we had talked about discussing liquid dethatch this episode, but we've had a situation come up and we've got a bit of a fungus freak out, so I want to talk to you about that instead. So as you hopefully know by now from our past videos, we saw record-breaking rains last year in 2018, and as a result, a lot of properties got fungus, and it was a big problem. We were on a kind of high alert this year for fungus because it's very typical for lawns that were impacted by fungus severely one year to get it in subsequent years, especially since they're going to be a little bit more fragile, a little bit more sensitive, still trying to long-term recover from the damage that the fungus did this season before. So then spring 2019 rolls around and we are really happy and excited with the response we are seeing from all the properties we maintain to the carbon-based fertilizer that we used. Everything's looking great, everything's good. And then all of a sudden we are experiencing July temperatures in March and April and May when we're supposed to be still enjoying the 70s. We were up into the 90s and we had multiple weeks where the average high temperature was 10 to 15 degrees above what is typical for that time of year. And that's a really big difference. Fescue already hates the heat. If the heat is coming early when it's trying to grow and flourish, it's going to get really stressed out. And that's what we ended up seeing. And I'm sure you remember from some of our videos over the last couple of months, that was a very big topic in conversation, was that heat stress. All of that brown, crunchy, dry, green to purple to brown coloring. It ended up being a big factor for a lot of properties. So lawns were under severe stress, more stress than we normally see this time of year. And just like with people, when you're under stress, you're more susceptible to disease. It's a lot easier for you to get sick if you wear yourself to the bone, and that's what ended up happening. Last week, we had several inches of rain over the course of just a few days, and all of that rain, especially what fell in the evening, just sat for days at a time, and that's what breeds fungus. So all of that moisture being held just kind of festered, and now we've seen an explosion of brown patch in a lot of properties because the weather has just not been on our side again this year. So we've sent out an email, and since we're starting round 3 at this point, Brandon will be visiting properties over the next few weeks. But take a look at the email, take a look at the video I'm about to show you that I took at one of our clients' properties, and if you see anything in your yard that looks like brown patch, where it's a brown patch in the lawn and then brown patches on the individual blades of grass, call me and let me know. We want to make sure that you are on the schedule for that fungicide so that we don't lose any of your lawn's appeal this summer. So real quick, let me show you what I'm talking about. So here's a property that contacted me because they were seeing very rapidly over the last week the development of brown patches in the lawn. And you can see these patches scattered through the turf among different degrees of green thrifty grass, but it's really apparent right here. So if we come up for a closer look, you can see that mixed in with this green turf is brown, really unhealthy, unhappy grass. And if we get a little bit closer and take a look at a section like this here, you can see these spots, these brown patches on the individual blades of grass themselves, in addition to the brown patches throughout the turf. And that's the giveaway that this is going to be a fungal issue. So like I said before, the vast majority of people are seeing some amount of fungus in their lawn right now. Whether you're a Picture Perfect client or another fertilizer company in RVA, RVA has fungus. There is a fungus freak out right now. So don't let it get the best of you. Don't look at your yard and say, oh, that looks terrible. Why does my lawn look brown? We can figure out why. We know that it's probably either fungus or heat stress. Let's make sure that it's something we can fix. I appreciate you guys staying up to date with me. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I hope that everything is going well for you. We'll be out to your property soon for either fertilizer, fungicide, or both. Grub control's coming up too. But subscribe and stay posted for next week when we'll be back for our regularly scheduled programming. Have a good one. Stay picture perfect.